Hello everyone, my name is Jordan Fulmer and I am a student enrolled in English 1302 with Professor Black. My research question is, does static stretching before resistant exercise hinder the workout? I gathered 5 sources, all coming from well-respected members in the health and fitness community. These sources came from places such as universities, from clinical studies, and even one from a magazine. So just a little bit about my experience. I have been lifting weights since I was about 12 and have always been taught the importance of static stretching before my workouts. As I continued to get older, I strayed away from stretching and thought my workouts were better and that I was stronger. Many professors had the same question as me, so they conduct research to answer it. All of my sources come from people in the field of sports science and medicine with high degrees at top universities. Many different many different studies are done that vary in procedure and are all done in controlled labs. All of these studies are submitted to PubMed, which is a top online medical journal for people to see. What do these sources think? 3 of my sources say yes, and then 2 say no. They all have to do with strength but have different variables such as volume, specific muscle groups, and length of stretch. In every case for yes, the group of muscles negatively affected by static stretching was the lower body. In most of the cases for no, the group of muscles was the upper body. I will get into the more specifics and explain each study. First is a magazine article from Flex by Brian Haycock. So the title of this source is Lightweight Stretching versus Stretching Warm-Up for Maximum Power. Brian has been involved in weight training since 1978 and got his education as a physiologist and a writer. He's also a professor at the University of Utah. And so this study was done to compare the power output between men who performed lightweight stretching and who performed static stretching before being involved in a weightlifting exercise. The group who did not perform this static stretching exercise noticed an increase in strength compared to the stretching group. And so a little insert from his article was, research shows that stretching the muscle actually decreases its ability to generate power, which means that it actually hinders the workout whenever you perform a static stretch. So the next study we'll look at is a long-term study done by the University of Tres Montes and Altaduro. Cameron Bastos was the leading researcher in the study, titled Chronic Effect of Static Stretching on Strength Performance in Baseline 01 IGF-1 Levels. She is a former professor at UTAD in their exercise and health department with her doctorate degree. And so this study involved 3 groups for a duration of 10 weeks. One group who performed static stretching at the beginning of the workout, another performing static stretching before each exercise, and another group who did not perform any static stretching at all. Although all of these groups, they experienced strength gains because they were working out over a period of time, the group who experienced the most strength gains was the group who did not perform any static stretching. And that goes to the quote from the article, or from the study. The strength training performed without any type of stretching exercise can more effectively increase muscle strength. And so our last yes source looks at the squat to see if static stretching impacts that or not. The title of this publication is Acute Effect of Passive Static Stretching on Lower Body Strength in Moderately Trained Men. Dr. Jeffrey Christopher Gergley, who is a professor at Stephen F. Austin State University, with his doctorate degree of education with an emphasis on exercise physiology, performed the study. The study consisted of a group of moderately trained men who either performed a static stretching before their 1 rep max or a dynamic stretch. It would show that there was a decrease in strength between the two, static stretching being the weakest. And so that's just kind of reading from the insert from the study. A significant decrease in 1 rep max and lower body stability was observed after the passive static stretching treatment. That's what PSS means. And so my next source looks at the bench press and the titled Effects of Low and High Volume Stretching on Bench Press Performance in Collegiate Football Players. Dr. Donovan Connolly performed this study. He is a professor at Wayne State College in exercise science and is a member of the National Strength and Conditioning Association. The study looks at 15 healthy college football players to determine the effect of different types of static stretching volumes. It was shown that there was no difference between the two. And that's basically the insert from his study. There was no significant differences in 1 rep max bench presses performed among any of the stretching protocols. So what he's basically saying is that static stretching actually has no effect on your strength when it comes to bench press. And so our very last article looks at how static stretching influences the strength gains made on novice lifters and is titled Early Phase Resistance Training Strength Gains in Novice Lifters are Enhanced by Doing Static Stretching. Dr. Joke Kokkonen, a professor at BYU Hawaii, led this study. 2 groups of novice lifters participated in a double-blind study, while one group performed static stretching while the other did not. The static stretching group was found to have greater strength gains than the non-stretching group. And based on this study of this results, novice lifters should include static stretching exercise to their resistance training programs. So if you're a novice lifter and you don't participate in static stretching exercise, it will not. It's not going to hinder your workout. It actually might hinder your workout because you're not doing static stretching, because you won't see the best strength gains made. And so some things that I learned from this study, when it comes to static stretching, it is actually fine for some muscle groups. When it comes to the upper body, it either doesn't affect it or it actually may positively affect your workout. But when it came to lower body, the greater part of the studies actually say that it is not good. It will hinder your workout. But you still need to utilize static stretching whenever it is necessary. When it comes to novice lifters, performing the static stretching actually leads to better strength gains. And when it comes to bench press, um, that may just work to be able to help your workouts because the static stretching may not have as big of an impact as it does on the lower body. But that's it. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Thank you.